I'm having a problem today. And our job as leaders, all the folks listening, is to have your teammates bring you their problems. And your job is to help them solve it. And so if they see that you're human having some problems and they're confident in that they can help solve them for you, and you lift them up and congratulate them and build that appreciation, then they'll be bringing you more problems. Now, you don't want your employees to always bring every problem to you that they could be solving on their own. But let's face it, we got to solve the problems. If you look at it from a business standpoint and nurturing prospects and keeping and retaining clients, you want them to always bring you their problems. That's what a wingman is. Somebody I feel confident who can help me solve my problem.
All of us have a story, but it just depends how you want that story to be. Do you want that story to be something that is going to cause, trauma, or it's going to cause you the power and encourage you to grow and build resilience, right? When I say that, Waldo, it's just because, a lot of us and entrepreneurs, and I go through it every day with business owners. Sometimes they're like, I can't share right now with my team how I feel. And sometimes I'm like, why?
Welcome to the Throne of Wealth, the podcast that empowers you to reign over your financial future. Each episode brings you tax strategies, wealth building insights, and stories from inspiring entrepreneurs. The Throne of Wealth is brought to you by King of Kings accounting firm, where financial challenges become opportunities for growth. Let's get into it.
Hi, and welcome to another show today. Today we have a guest speaker with us, Waldo, the Wingman. The Wingman is a Hall of Fame leadership speaker, executive coach, and author of New York Times and Wall Street Journal bestseller, Never Fly Solo. Welcome, Waldo.
Nice to see you, Karen.
I'm so delighted to have you here today with our audience, and I can't wait for you to share a little bit of your story. And for those out there that, are meeting you for the first time and never heard of you, can you tell us what does Never Fly Solo mean? Well,
number one, it's great to be here, and I love your entrepreneurial background. Believe it or not, I was in corporate tax after I became a fighter pilot. So I'm very familiar with what you do and work with a lot of financial services companies. So congratulations on your journey of entrepreneurship and building a great brand.
Thank you.
I spent 24 years in the Air Force as an F-16 fighter pilot, flying that amazing aircraft over there. Combat missions, all the things you see going on in the news today with Iran and combat, et cetera, things that I did both in Iraq and Kosovo, serving this amazing country that we're in. And one of the things that was unique about me is I had a massive fear of heights, and I almost died scuba diving a year and a half, 2 years into my flying career. And I developed this massive claustrophobia, this massive panic attacks I used to get strapping into the jet. And so claustrophobia isn't the best thing to have as a pilot. And part of my journey was how I overcame that fear and still became a very successful instructor pilot, fighter pilot, combat veteran, et cetera. And so my book, Never Fly Solo, is about building collaborative cultures that you have men and women in your life, your wingmen, the men and women who are supporting you, encouraging you, lifting you up, pushing you, having your back, but also have the accountability and love you enough to tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. And so in life and in business, as you well know, running your firm, you can't do it alone, and you need your teammates to help you to win. And that's the premise of the book, both learned in combat and also on the front line of business and corporate tax and technology sales, and finally as a leadership speaker for the last 20 years.
Wow. What a story, Waldo, there. You said something extremely important about, when we get those moments of fears, those moments that hold us back, and who do we rely on to? Can you expand a little bit more on, your experience there, who was that person that, those men and women that were in your life that, sometimes as business owners, having a conversation earlier with some people today, this morning, they said, entrepreneurship it's lonely, Karen. Mm-hmm. It's very lonely, and especially when it gets tough. And it's like, who do we rely to, right? Who should we go?
So, when you partnered up to develop your firm, and you navigated your way up the entrepreneurial ladder, and you're still maneuvering up it, right? There's a never ending horizon of growth and opportunity and success. And so I think, being transparent and humble enough to be able to take off your proverbial mask and say the three most important words in life, which are I need help, right? Mayday, mayday is the wingman's trusted partner's call to action. But the problem with many folks who try to achieve success in life is they don't plant the seeds of those relationships before they need them. They only call out for help, and sometimes it's too late. And so my advice to any entrepreneur, any leader, anybody dealing with a difficulty is, dodging missiles and flying in combat, so to speak, in life or in business, is when things are going well, when the skies are blue, when you're healthy, when you're pushing up the throttle and the enemy isn't in front of you, that's the time to give. That's the time to build relationships, to give your wings away, to help others and lift them up out of the dungeon of doubt and challenge that they're in, and nurture those relationships before you need them. So when you do deal with the challenges, now you have those wingmen on your team, and so it doesn't have to be lonely. There are many peers in our business who support us and who encourage us, but if we wait and are selfish in our business model and don't give our wings away, that's when the challenges can come,
Wow, that was powerful. That was powerful, Waldo. What was there a moment in your military career when you realized that trust is not just helpful, but a mission critical?
So it just depends on what your mission is, first and foremost, right? Your job is to help, minimize, tax liabilities and build wealth for your clients and nurture your community, to help other entrepreneurs like you build their businesses. I work with wealth managers myself. I run a 7-figure business. I'm very blessed, but I work my tail off just like you, Karen, right? We have a saying in the military: the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in battle. And so when you're dealing with people's futures, their wealth or their health, or if in combat, you better show up prepared. So you better know your strategies. You better know your tools, your resources. I call it being mission ready, right? You got to know your strategies. If you showed up at your business meetings not having a plan and not knowing the tax liabilities, the laws, the statutes, and the options for your customers, they look at you like you had three heads, right? And so as a fighter pilot, when you're dealing with people's lives, you got to be prepared. So the contingency planning, leveraging the tools and technologies of that amazing aircraft, but it's also, the mindset that you need, the confidence and the courage that's a byproduct of that preparation, and also of the fact that you look at the person staring back at you every morning, and you understand this, Karen, as a principal in your organization. You got to look at Karen Quintanilla and say, do I trust that person staring in front of me? Am I prepared? Am I working on my health and fitness? Do I build relationships? Do I have faith and all those things that reinforce our wings and give us courage to fly? And so if you don't have trust in yourself and aren't committed to this concept of excellence that we're both familiar with, then guess what? Your customers aren't going to feel confident in you helping them hit their targets and accomplish their mission. So preparation, confidence, courage, and also, as we just discussed, it's great to have a great team. You're not flying solo at your company, right, Karen? You've got teammates. And the people listening, hopefully they have their teammates and their partners, maybe their spouse or their vendor partners, their accountants or plumbers or friends who give them perspective and lift them up and help them hit their targets and stay mission ready.
Wow, that's powerful. Waldo, how can business owners out there that are listening to these powerful, you're saying and stating that everything starts with us as leaders, right? We got to lead by example. We got to show up. We got to show up, but not just show up to show up. We got to show up ready. So how can those leaders, as a business owner, how can a leader stay courageous and have that mindset of preparation, before showing up to their organization or to the next challenge in place. Because right now, Waldo, here's what I'm seeing a lot with the constant change, especially AI, right? A lot of small business owners are thinking, I'm going to be out of the game. How do I reinvent myself for the change? I'm really stressed because, I feel like I have too many people on my team, and right now I should be utilizing AI, but I don't know how to utilize or bring AI into my organization, and I'm going to have to reduce all of these positions. So how can a business owner kind of adapt that change and stay courageous to the uncertainty?
So I mentioned, wingmen never wing it, right?
Yeah.
We don't fly by the seat of our pants. You can't lead or sell or build a business or deal with challenges by the seat of your pants. The preparation piece is critical. Now, I just want to show you something here. This F-16, the jet that I flew, just celebrated its 50th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
Twice your age, right, Karen? Muy joven and muy bonita. Congratulaciones.
Yeah.
Tu success. So necesito practicar mi español.
I love it.
Por tiempo, mi amigo, trabajo off of Buford Highway. He is una óptica familiar. He's an optometrist, óptica familiar, y trabajo con la gente de la comunidad de Latinoamérica. And so he's probably acerca de usted. So I'll have to make an introduction to you. Okay. So if you didn't understand Spanish, too bad, the listeners. So let's get back to this jet. So this F-16 has all these weapon systems on it, upgrading, sensors, missiles, radar. And to be confident to fly this jet, you've got to be able to upgrade your weapon systems all the time. Now, if you look at AI, cybersecurity, the strategies and tactics of building wealth, building a business, you've got to be able to upskill. And so attending seminars, listening to these podcasts, showing up at association events, if you're in the healthcare world or insurance or running a small franchise or whatever it is, you got to be amongst your peers and say, hey, what are you doing to up level this weapon systems to remain relevant and confident in your market? You know this as well. You've got to be leveraging all the tools. And this podcast is an important tool. You can see the things I'm using here, this video and all the things that I use. Those are great tools to create more rapport and leverage. Now, let me ask you, if you look at this plane, Karen, thinking about the plane and the pilot sitting in there, what is the biggest differentiator? What is going to be the biggest factor in this plane hitting their targets or being a success? The weapon system or the guy or gal flying that jet?
The person flying the ship.
You got it. And so that's you. That's the person listening to this podcast. And so when you look at the things you're bolting onto your jet, and I mentioned it before, your health and fitness, your relationships, your faith. I'm 57 years old. I got a 15-year-old running around. I believe in God. It's important. I work out all the time. I'm constantly reading books. I'm learning from people. I'm studying AI, ChatGPT, Claude, all those things, investing the time, putting in the sweat equity to build the confidence. And so the biggest tip I could say is keep showing up, get uncomfortable, ask for help, put your jet in the hangar and start upgrading your weapon systems, because you can't change those weapon systems while you're flying the jet. And so investing in those times, and then obviously look at that person staring back at you and look at upgrading your weapon systems to build that trust, which is very, very contagious. Your positive attitude, Karen, I could tell that attitude that you have, your courage and your positivity is contagious with the folks that you work with, as well as your customers, right?
Yeah, all of us have a, one thing I was telling someone the other day, it's like all of us have a story, but it just depends how you want that story to be. Do you want that story to be something that is going to cause, trauma? or it's going to cause you the power and encourage you to grow and continues to do and build resilient, right? When I say that, Waldo, it's just because, a lot of us in entrepreneurs, and I go through it every day with business owners, right? Sometimes they're like, I can't share right now with my team how I feel. And sometimes I'm like, why? Do you know that if your team knows that you're not okay, somebody's gonna stand up and raise up to that standard, and it's gonna say, we are a team. I'm not just here to help you. I'm not just here to collect a check, but I'm here to support you in what we need. Now, as leaders, I always tell my clients, right? We don't have the luxury to go and complain to our employees. We have to figure it out, because regardless if you knew or not, it is still your problem to solve.
Right.
Because somebody else probably did it in your organization or whatnot, right? But it's staying focused is, what I'm taking from what you were explaining in that scenario with not flying solo, and that focus is what sometimes deviates us to take the different route. And what will you say to those business owners out there, Waldo, that they lose focus, they lose vision?
Going back to your initial statement, saying I don't know or I need help are perfectly great comments. And, your teammates, your coworkers, the people that work with you or for you, want to see that you're a human, that you're going to make mistakes, that you're not perfect. And what this often does is it humanizes you, not just as the business owner or the person making X dollars or the decision maker, but it reinforces the fact that, like you said, hey, we've got others on our team who can help us. And this is the whole concept of never flying solo. Now, let's go a little bit deeper in that. General Colin Powell, the former Secretary of State, and et cetera, he has an amazing quote. Leadership is about solving problems. And the day soldiers stop bringing you their problems is the day they've either lost confidence that you can help or concluded that you don't care. And so connecting with people, showing them that you care about their family, about their goals, their dreams, when they show up, connecting with them from the heart, not just the head, right?
Yeah.
Will create that loyalty and that passion to do work. But it also means sometimes saying, hey, I have a problem today. I need help. I'm messing up here. I'm a little bit losing confidence. Hey, team, help me out here. Well, when that humanizes you, now you're marinating the steak and creating the conduit, the connection where they can then say to you, hey, Karen, I'm having a problem today. I need help. And our job as leaders, all the folks listening, is to have your teammates bring you their problems. And your job is to help them solve it. And so if they see that you're human having some problems and they're confident and that they can help solve them for you, and you lift them up and congratulate them and build that appreciation, then they'll be bringing you more problems. Now, you don't want your employees to always bring every problem to you that they could be solving on their own. But let's face it, we got to solve the problems. And if you look at it from a business standpoint and nurturing prospects and keeping and retaining clients, you want them to always bring you their problems. That's what a wingman is. Somebody I feel confident who can help me solve my problem. And so you show up, Karen, with a great team, building loyalty internally. Everybody's prepared, not perfect. You're going to nurture those relationships, and your customers are going to say, hey, I've got a tax liability problem. I had this tax easement issue that I dealt with, or, I had a great year last year. I need some strategies for mitigating my tax. They're going to bring you their problems. And then when that happens, this pen comes out and they do something wonderful in the world of capitalism. They write you a check and you take it and you build your business and you help solve their problems and create service and a great business. So if you don't do it internally with your team, it's going to be very difficult for you to nurture those relationships and have your prospects come to you to solve their problems. Yeah.
It's everything that starts from inside out. And when organizations break, it's usually inside out too. So yeah, that's powerful. Waldo, for our audience and for those that they haven't heard of you before, this is the first time in this podcast and this episode. Tell us a little bit about what you do and how can they get in contact with you or your organization, your company, and how you help the community out there as well through the work that you do.
So I'm known as the Wingman. Waldo Waldman's my name. I wrote this book, Never Fly Solo. It's a New York Times and Wall Street Journal bestseller. I'm going to put a little link here.
Yes, please.
This QR code of that link, if you want to get a copy of it, it's an audio book. You can share that with your teammates. Anybody listening could go to that link, that QR code, etc. But I'm a member of the Speaker Hall of Fame, and I do national sales and leadership keynotes for companies like Cisco, LPL Financial, Johnson & Johnson, the biggest companies in the world. If you Google Waldo Waldman, the Wingman, or go to yourwingman.com, you can learn about me. And then I'm on YouTube and Instagram and all over the place. It's under Waldo Waldman. But I talk a lot about courage, how to deal with your fears, build those relationships. And finally, I've got another book coming out in September.
Wow.
And this one, it's called Commit, How to Break the Fear Barrier, Crush Uncertainty, and Live a Life of Courage. That's about how I overcame claustrophobia and a massive fear of heights, and some of the philosophies that I shared with you today to elevate your mindset and your courage so that you can stay on purpose and on target for living your dreams and blessing your customers. So.
Wow, that's amazing, Waldo. That's amazing. Thank you so much for your time. It was such an honor having you here with us today. We learned so much. And for those business owners out there, for the entrepreneurs, please buy that book. And it's not just for you. Gift it to your team. Do not fly solo, right? We need a team in our organizations. We need to have and surround ourselves with people that we add value to them as they add value to our life. And please, like Waldo said, right? Ask for help. And don't just ask for help. Also offer help to others. So let's build those relationships. Any last words that you would like to leave our audience with, Waldo?
Remember also not necessarily what you fight for, but what you love for. Many watching this or listening to this program have spouses, children, people in their life who may be in the dungeon of doubt. Somebody needs you to succeed. And when you're having a tough time or when you're in the dungeon of doubt, struggling, stay focused on who needs you and who you love for. And that'll get you in the cockpit and help you dodge those missiles and make those tough decisions and build the courage necessary. That's how you could stay on purpose and on target in life.
Thank you. Thank you, Waldo. And to all of our listeners, please buy that book. It's going to serve you well for many, many years to come. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Throne of Wealth. Be sure to subscribe, share, and leave a review to help others find the show. A special thanks to our sponsor, King of Kings Accounting Firm, dedicated to helping you build and protect wealth for generations. Until next time, take the reins of your financial future and lead with confidence.